Hello, welcome back to another episode of Leo Interviews. Today we have Jon Vroman with us.
What's up, Leo?
Hi, nice to meet you. Let's go ahead and get into it. Tell me a little bit about you.
Okay. I grew up in a military family. My dad was a captain in the Navy. My mom stayed at home raising my sister and I. We moved around a bunch and mostly an East Coast kid. So I grew up in Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania. Yeah. And then moved to Texas about 10 years ago. And my wife is Tatiana, and my two kids are Tiger and Ocean. They're 16 and 11.
And I know we met at Laura's house.
Yeah, that's right. Super cool. Yep. I was so happy to meet you, man. You've interviewed some cool people, and you've got a good thing going on.
Oh, thank you. What's your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Biggest challenge, and how did I overcome it? You know, what I'll say is in my sophomore year of high school, I was on the shorter side. And when I say I was on the shorter side, I mean I was the shortest kid in high school. And I think that at the time, I let that impact my mind in a way that wasn't really helpful. I thought that because I was physically small, that meant that I just wasn't of the same value as everybody else. And later in life, I learned that that's not the case. You know, that I was just smaller at that time, and that's okay. And I wish that, not I wish, what I learned and what I'm grateful for and how I overcame that was by changing the way I saw myself, the way I thought and felt. And that has served me to this day, you know, to change my perspective on things.
Exactly. If you think everyone could change something, like one thing in the world, what would it be?
Say the question one more time.
If you think that we could all change the world by doing one thing, what would it be?
Oh, I like that. I think the answer, well, I know my answer is to love yourself, to see yourself that God lives within you, however somebody wants to define God, spirit, universe, life force, whatever other definition they have, that we are not separate, that we're all connected, that we are one, and that when we have reverence for ourselves, for the God that lives within, I think that's how we make a big difference in the world. I think a lot of what happens in the world that's not healthy comes from unhealed pain and trauma and wounds, you know, that are mostly inside for somebody.
So, you're a believer of God, correct?
Yes.
What is your favorite Bible verse?
Oh, well, I'm going to say this because my good friend, Jon Vroman, who passed away years ago, was born on March 16th. So we just celebrated what would have been his 46th birthday. So that verse is, God loved the world enough to sacrifice his one and only son so that whoever believes in him will not perish but have eternal life. So yeah, John 3:16 would be my answer.
And God always had a lot of patience. But for you, what do you think patience is?
Patience is breath. Patience is pausing. You know, one of my great lessons, Leo, in life is has been learning, and I'm still learning this, to not react, right? To not react, but to respond. To take a moment, to pause, to breathe, to give space. And I think in doing so, I make better decisions.
Exactly. What do you think makes someone strong on the inside?
The the belief that they are good inside, that integrity, self-respect. When I say something, I mean it. I follow through with my word. That form of respect and integrity, I think, is what strengthens somebody from the inside. There's a form of resilience because we know who we are. We know what our values are. And then we get to operate and live within those values.
Yeah, very well said.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. What is one thing that you wish that you, or what is one piece of advice that you wish that you knew when you were younger?
The interesting thing about getting advice sometimes is that it doesn't land in the moment because you're not ready for it. You're not ready for that wisdom. So I do believe that everything's on time. I think we get the lesson exactly when we're supposed to get it. And yet, if there was a lesson that I got earlier that I would be grateful for, it would probably be something in the realm of not taking things so seriously. I think there are serious things in life, and yet I think many times in my years I took things too seriously. Maybe a little lightness or a little laughter or a little bit of letting go would have also contributed to perhaps more joy along the way.
Exactly. It's actually very funny because the guy before we just started this podcast, he said the exact same thing about, it's just crazy. It's like he said it and you said it.
Yeah, you sometimes find that there are some patterns, and some universal truths that seem to emerge when multiple people say the same thing over and over again, and you're like, there's maybe some wisdom there.
Yeah. What is one piece of financial advice that you would give to someone right now?
Same advice that a buddy gave to me, which is you take a percentage of what you earn, you put it away, and you don't touch it. Wherever you put it, however you invest it. But if you just simply take a little bit of what you earn and you put it away and you don't touch it, that is the way to create wealth in the most simple form. Many ways to invest. You'll get a lot of great counsel on like where to put your money and a lot of opinions on where to put your money. But ultimately, I think that if you do that simple philosophy, you do okay. And with somebody like yourself, where you have a lot of time in front of you, compounding interest is very important. Getting money to work for you and build momentum is a good skill to develop and good wisdom to have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What is the biggest, or I guess, what is for someone or for some of the people who may be watching this and are wondering or what their passion is or what their dream is or what they want to pursue, what they want to do, however you want to say it, what is one thing that you would tell them right now?
For somebody that wants to pursue a passion, what advice would I give them?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a paradox to this statement, which is, on one hand, the advice is like, pick a thing and be persistent with it. Stay after it, fail and try again, lean in, and everything takes time to develop real skill, mastery, right? So it's this perseverance that is such an important value in building and pursuing a passion. Some days you just aren't as excited, and yet you still show up and do the work, right? You might not always be fired up to do the interview, but you get there and you do the job. On the other hand, knowing when to stop something is equally as important. Knowing when to say, hey, I tried that food on the buffet and that's not my favorite food. I tried that job and that's not my favorite job. And part of learning about yourself in this life is trying many things and deciding what doesn't work. So you actually have to quit a lot of things to find the thing that you really want to do. So stopping what you're doing or saying no to things is equally as important as, leaning in constantly and never giving up. So both are important, and learning how to balance those two so that you ultimately live the most fulfilling life. I think that is the magic.
Okay. Very well said, by the way.
Thanks.
And now this is where we get into some of the more totally better questions here. So,
All right, better questions, bring them.
all right, so this is mainly for all the funny questions that we get into. And mostly, other than just doing one, I decided, why don't we do a whole bunch? Because why not?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Well, I'm going to go with key lime pie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
my mom she would be like, let's go in level 1.
Yeah, that's right.
She does like a bunch of like just, I guess, lime thingies, like the jiggies.
Yeah. That's cool.
What about your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Favorite drink would be, my gut is just water. Probably sparkling water would be my favorite.
Yeah, same. It's so weird because like we can buy like a can of sparkling water and it's gone 2 seconds. Okay, maybe like, an 8-pack. Nope, still gone. Okay, 16 packs, nope, gone.
Gone.
It's like, hell, okay, 1 million pack, nope, gone.
Yep, that's right.
I drink so much sparkling water, it's insane. You wouldn't believe on how much we have to get.
That's funny. Sounds like you might need to be an investor in a sparkling water company.
Yeah. Speaking of investor, is there maybe like a website where people can find out more about you?
About me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can find out more about me at frontrowdads.com. That you can also learn about the community that I lead of fathers who want to be really great dads for their families.
All right, so I've been thinking, right, of some questions because usually every podcast has just been the same boringish, well, not boringish, but just the same questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided to think of the most craziest, most biggest, whatever you want to call it, question ever.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yes, let's go.
What is your favorite animal? But
Favorite
has to be
animal?
Cute one. Has to be cute.
Has to be cute?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so my favorite animal would probably be a black panther. But I would imagine that a baby black panther is probably super cute.
Yeah. So why would you pick a a baby
Black
black
panther?
Yes, baby black panther instead of maybe a different animal?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you when I was about your age, I was obsessed with big cats, some tigers and lions. And, my room was decorated with posters of all these big cats. I had a bed spread that was like a big old lion. And that was just what called to me. And I can't tell you exactly why, but just, strong and beautiful and all, like, it just felt like, man, for whatever reason, that lit me up, which is probably why my 16-year-old's name is Tiger. And my youngest, Ocean, his middle name is Liev. In Russian, that means Leo.
Oh, that's cool.
Or lion. So yeah, just like you, man. So that is why I would pick that, because in the cat family, I've always been a cat person. And there's something about the Black Panther that reminds me of a quality that I believe I possess. And I call this version of myself the Black Panther. And that is a part of me that believes in justice and wanting to protect, wanting to be stealth and powerful. And, just that there's something to that makes me feel like that's part of who I am.
And what's funny is I can't believe this is happening. So you wouldn't believe it. Another totally coincidence. Maybe, I don't know. But so the other guy, or the guy before this, right?
Yeah.
He had a son whose name is Leo.
Really?
Yes. This is insane.
There you go, man. You should only interview people that have family names associated with Leo.
Yeah. Well, I guess before we close out in bits, is there maybe a couple words that you would like to give to our viewers?
Yeah. My words would be to take moments each day and to find space and quiet and to remember who you are as a person at your best, who you really are at your core, and then to move into the world with that type of energy. And really a great life comes down to a very simple philosophy, I believe, and that is to do the very best you can with whatever you have in every given moment. And that's the only thing you can do. Do the very best you have with whatever you have, right? Do the best you can with whatever you have in every given moment. And that is the way to move through the world. So I think if we all did that, we'd live in a much better place, you know? And I think we are. I think we're getting there. I think we're evolving as a species. And I think that good things are unfolding. As much as there are challenges, I think that we're on a good path.
Very awesome. So now this is we went through the funny questions, but now this is bigger than the cute animal question. Okay,
this is the biggest of the big.
Yeah, this is like almost top of the food chain.
All right, let's go.
And speaking of food chain, it's literally what these questions are.
All right.
All right. So, have you ever heard of a Coke before?
The actual drink?
Yes.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of Dr. Pepper?
Yes.
If you had to pick between a Coke and a Dr. Pepper, which one would it be?
Oh, well, would it be on ice cream and in like a soda float, or would it be by itself?
By itself. We are going straight just raw.
I think I would choose a Coke.
Okay.
If it was on a soda float, I think it would be a Dr. Pepper.
Okay, you know what's funny? No. This has to be a TV prank show. The other guy, he literally said, "Oh yeah, Dr. Pepper," and it's funny because if I had said a float, you would have gone Dr. Pepper.
That's right.
The cameras, this is a camera right here, but surely there are other cameras recording
right.
somewhere.
You're being pranked.
Yeah. Now we move on to the people who just love eating, which is also me, especially with my mom's cooking.
Yeah.
What is your favorite fast food restaurant?
Fast food restaurant? Well, I probably would say Hop Dottie for a burger.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there's a restaurant, an Indian restaurant called Tarka, and I really like that. And I would put that into the fast food category. So Tarka or Hop Dottie.
Okay.
For anybody that's not in Austin, that probably makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm actually in Austin, but I've never heard of those.
Yeah? Okay.
I think my sister has heard of Hop Daddy or yeah, something like that. Anyway.
Try it out.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think.
Okay, I will try it out. And also, I was taking a look at your front row dad dinners or front row dads. I think I said that correctly. Hopefully I did.
Yeah, front row dads, yeah.
Yeah, but guys, go check that out and just do what you gotta do and just click on the website, okay?
Thank you, buddy.
Because you are an amazing guest.
Thanks, Leo. I appreciate it, man. I think you're a great interviewer. I feel very fortunate to have met you. I feel grateful for our time. I think you're asking some really important questions, and I can only imagine that with all the wisdom you're going to gain, what that will do for you and all the people that you'll serve.
Oh, thank you. Well, I guess this is it, but it was nice meeting you.
Yeah, Leo, thank you so much, man. Reach out anytime, however I can help you.
Okay, thank you. Well, until next time, guys. Bye.